Welcome to the Know, I'm Ashley Jenkins. Is Sony already gearing up for the release of its next console? I mean, yes, you have every reason to be skeptical of that. It would be awfully early, but that's the conclusion of industry analysts. Macquarie research analyst Damien Thong published a report predicting record profits for Sony by March 2019, fueled in part by the release of the next PlayStation console. According to Thong, the PlayStation 5 will make its debut in the latter half of 2018. As for power, he believes it will be sporting somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 teraflops. That would put it behind this year's high-end GPUs for PC, so hey, releasing already outdated hardware is par for the course when it comes to consoles, but it would also then totally leapfrog the Scorpio, which is estimated at 6. As for 2018 being the year of the PS5, that seems a little doubtful considering all the exclusives that are still coming to PS4 in the next year, but we all know that analysts love making crazy predictions. If you're worried that EA is going to, well, pull an EA with Mass Effect Andromeda's post-launch multiplayer content, think again. This might actually be a good story. BioWare General Manager Aaron Flynn confirmed on Twitter this week that Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer DLC will be handled exactly like Mass Effect 3. In Mass Effect 3, all maps and extra content released for the game was free of charge, with the only microtransactions coming in the form of loot boxes. In other multiplayer news, BioWare also confirmed this week that if you don't want to attempt the game's multiplayer missions, with rewards that carry over to single player, you can send AI-controlled teams to tackle the missions for you. Because the best part of multiplayer is not having to play. Platinum Games' Nier Automata is out today, and it has some pretty impressive review scores to go along with it. The action role-playing game is sitting pretty with a 90 average score on Metacritic so far, with about 44 reviews in at the time of writing. It's gotten high marks from a number of sites. GamesRadar gave it a 4.5 out of 5, with DualShockers, GameSpot, and Destructoid all awarding it 9 out of 10. The overall consensus is that Nier Automata improves on its predecessor, offering an engaging story and challenging but satisfying combat. RPG Site calls it one of the best games they've ever played, which is very high praise, while DualShockers writes, it's a fantastic and well-balanced mix between sleek Platinum Games action and JRPG gameplay, resulting bigger than the sum of its parts. It brings forth an absolutely fascinating setting and charming, likable, and memorable characters that will both make you smile and tug at your heartstrings. Sounds like it's nearly perfect. As if you didn't have enough open world games to play right now. Everyone's been curious to see what DayZ creator Dean Hall does next. He's currently working on several unknown projects with his new outfit, Rocketworks. However, one of the projects we did know about, Ion, a spacefaring MMO that was described as Minecraft meets Eve, is now cancelled. Well, sort of cancelled. Rocketworks was co-developing Ion with London-based Improbable. However, Improbable told Eurogamer in a statement that they're no longer going to be working on Ion, and they're not sure if Rocketworks is either. When Dean Hall was asked for comment about the status of Ion, he said, "We're not actively working on Ion, no. I am not involved in that, no. Nor is Rocketworks Studio in New Zealand." So, it's not cancelled, but no one's working on it anymore, apparently. Speaking of open universe spacefaring disappointments, No Man's Sky is back in the news again. Hello Games has announced that the game's next major update will be releasing this week in the form of the Pathfinder update. According to a blog post on Hello Games' website, the Pathfinder update introduces a new vehicle that will aid home planet exploration, building on the Foundation update to hint at a path ahead for the future. Previously, the presence of some kind of ATV has been found in No Man's Sky after the release of the Foundation update back in November, which fixed some of No Man's Sky's most pressing issues and saw a return of some of its player base back to the game. So we'll see if the Pathfinder update improves on that number and what Hello Games teases for what's to come. And we've finally learned a little tiny bit more about the Final Fantasy VII remake that's allegedly happening sometime this century. A poster on NeoGAF found an interview with the game's director Tetsuya Nomura on Famitsu, who says the game's combat system will be action-based, not command-based like the original, which makes it a big change. The Famitsu post also showed some screenshots of Cloud taking cover from an enemy soldier and doing battle with a guard scorpion. So yeah, it all seems pretty cool. You know what would be more cool? A release date. Just give us something, come on. We are nearing the end of Destiny's life as Bungie shifts its attention to launching the game's sequel later this year. but players of the original will still get one more event, and Bungie released a new teaser trailer for the game's last hurrah called Age of Triumph. The update introduces a new record book and will return players to the game's original raid, the Vault of Glass, according to GameSpot. We'll learn more about the update Wednesday when Bungie hosts the first of 3 live streams dedicated to the update. The update will release sometime later this month, and Bungie said this will be the final event for Destiny as they get ready to launch Destiny 2 later this year. If you want more storylines in Overwatch, have no fear, they are coming. We've seen a bit of a drought recently considering that Blizzard hasn't released any new story comics since the holidays, and the game's newest hero, Orisa, only got a brief introduction video that's led some fans to fret that the game's overall storyline is being ignored. All of that hand-wringing got the attention of lead writer Michael Chu, who said not to worry, Blizzard is still working on fleshing out the game's story and will produce some more frequent story updates this year. We have a lot in the works, with Orisa and her story being the first release of the year, he said, according to VG247. Upon hearing this news, Russian President Vladimir Putin added, "That better not be a gay robot or you're all in a hell of a lot of trouble." As he does. It looks like the For Honor hype train has kind of lost momentum because the game is seeing serious drop-off of its player base. After it launched last month, the hack-and-slash fighting game landed in Steam's top 10 most played games with nearly 46,000 concurrent players. But it looks like a lot of those players have moved on because 1 week after launch, its Steam numbers dropped to 21,000, according to GetHype. A week later, it's down to 15,000 per day. One of the big factors, GetHype said, were server issues. Many players reported connection issues, and then there was a global server outage during its second weekend after the launch. Ubisoft tried to entice players back with experience bonuses and rewards, but as of this past weekend, the game was still down 56% from launch. That kind of drop-off was also seen in another Ubisoft game, The Division. Its player base was down 57% by its third week, which just goes to show, keep your servers up or gamers will flee to greener pastures. Pastures with better server farms. Or just make an update like the huge update The Division got, the 1.4 update, then maybe people will come back. But I'm not promising anything. A chatbot that helped people get out of paying parking fines is now helping refugees get asylum in some Western countries. How's that for technology? The chatbot, known as Do Not Pay, was created by a 20-year-old Stanford student, Joshua Browder, who gives free legal aid using a chat interface on Facebook Messenger. But now it can also help refugees fill out immigration applications in the US and Canada, according to The Guardian. For refugees in the UK, the chatbot helps them apply for asylum support. The chatbot asks the user a series of questions in order to determine which application to fill out and whether they're eligible for asylum protection under international law. The chatbot's gone through an awful lot of updates in its life. It initially helped people pay parking fines through the appeals process. We reported on that here before. It was later programmed to deal with other legal issues such as finding free legal aid if you're homeless. Hopefully this chatbot went to a good law school and passed the bar. Otherwise, we're calling shenanigans. It's gonna have some problems in the future. Still, good help if you can get it. Who said the robot overlords can't be benevolent? That's all the news we have for you guys today. Let us know what you think of all these stories down in the comments below. Make sure you like this video so you can get news from every corner of the internet. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to The Know. We do news all the time. Can't get enough of it, really. So much news. Actually, mostly Zelda right now. Zelda and Horizon is mostly what we're doing. Already gearing up for the release of its next console? That is the conclusion of industry analysts and Macquarie Research analysts. Wait, hold on.